Welcome everyone back to another session where we're trying to have you meet and be introduced to some of our head coaches. Today we have three head coaches who are all full-time Long Beach City College employees in the kinesiology department, and as well as longtime coaches, and obviously among the most successful coaches that we have. So today we have Jonathan Charette, Casey Crook, and Chris Oeding. So guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Good to see everybody.
Go around the screen and just ask each of you to give us a little bit about your background and how did you end up at Long Beach City College? Jonathan, let's start with you since you're the youngest.
Yeah, I'm a former student athlete at Long Beach City College. I went to Long Beach in 2004, 2005. I was able to get my associate's degree while competing on the men's volleyball team. And then I finished my college career at Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, where I got my bachelor's degree. And then I continued my playing career, finishing it in 2011. And then I started my coaching career at Long Beach City. So 2011 was my first season, and I just did 9 seasons, including this one.
And congratulations, till this season was over. You were ranked #1 in the state and looked like you were going to vie for another state championship.
Yeah, it's unfortunate it ended, but the guys put in a lot of good work up until that point.
Great. Casey, tell us about your background.
Well, I moved to California about 30 years ago to go to grad school at Long Beach State, and I got to be a volunteer coach there for Dave Snow. And then the NCAA made some rules right about them, really limiting the contact hours and the number of coaches you could have. So the coaching staff at Long Beach State got me an assistant job at Long Beach City College. That was the fall of 1992. And after 1 year, the head coach left, and it was a part-time position, and they just needed to slide somebody in there in the summer. So I was at the right spot at the right time. Been here ever since.
And who was the head coach then, Casey?
The head coach was Lindsay Meggs, who has moved up and moved fast, and now the head coach at the University of Washington. He's had a really nice career.
Great. And Chris, tell us about your background.
Southern California native, grew up in Orange County, went to high school down here, ended up having the opportunity to play 4 years of water polo up at Cal in Berkeley. And then afterwards extended my career for a while and played with the U.S. Olympic team in the 96 and 2000 games. It was just a natural transition for me to continue to stay on the deck and coach. And Long Beach was looking for a coach in 2000, and it's been known as an aquatics mecca, and it was a school that was very supportive of its coaching staff and supported its athletes very well, and seemed like it was a natural fit. And I've been there for the last 20 years, and have never woken up a morning not wanting to go to work, which is great.
It's wonderful when you can say that you've never gone to work, that you've really enjoyed it. Chris, we've got some construction going on that involves a swimming pool. Tell us about that.
Oh, man. So just a little bit of history. When I got hired in 2000, there had been plans on the college 10-year plan before Casey was there to put in a new pool. And it just kind of had lingered and nothing had ever really, moved forward on it. And fortunately, with some of the bonds that have gone through, they had designated that along with an athletic field as a priority. So we're just thrilled to get our facility not only up to standard, but at the forefront and going to be one of the premier aquatics facilities in the state. So really looking forward to that project, along with the other components of that athletic field and volleyball courts and tennis courts and all that. So I think it's going to be a huge upgrade for the campus.
Yeah, that project will impact about 8 of our teams in there, and certainly will impact our kinesiology classes as well. Casey, you serve in a dual role, both as a head coach as well as a member of the kinesiology department, but also chair of the kinesiology department. How do you see this new construction affecting the kinesiology program in the college?
Well, I see the pool. I think we'll be able to expand our swim classes. I think that pool is just going to be a place where people want to be, let alone taking classes and playing on teams. We have a sand volleyball class that's never really gotten off its feet because we tried to teach it down at the beach and the logistics were not good. So, having beach volleyball, sand volleyball on campus is going to let those classes expand. And with the new tennis courts and volleyball courts, we can explore some other classes that we've never taught before. So we're definitely looking forward to growing our enrollment in those classes.
Yeah, for those people who may not know, it is a new swimming pool, huge swimming pool. I want to say 65 meters by 25. Chris, is that correct?
That's correct. So we'll be able to accommodate any and all aquatics events, and more importantly, just provide more water, like Casey insinuated, for more opportunities for students.
Mm-hmm. And also 5 sand volleyball courts, 6 tennis courts. We have a new softball field coming in, and then 2 turfed soccer fields as well. So we're excited about that construction. For the people who may be driving by Carson, they can see that construction going on now. I've actually gone up and taken a sneak peek, and everything's leveled and it's moving forward and progressing well. Jonathan, one of the interesting conversations I've always had with you is your interest in motor learning, how to structure practices, what is the best way to teach. Tell me how you got hooked on that.
Yeah, so like I said, I went to Brigham Young University, and a former coach there, Carl McGowan, who has recently passed away, he kind of led this idea that there's a scientific method, or at least for the volleyball world, that there's a scientific method that we can follow when it comes to coaching. And we can use teaching principles to help athletes acquire skill. And so he kind of popularized that with his own program at BYU, then moved on to the USA volleyball team, and was kind of like the world's coach. He was traveling everywhere coaching and establishing this way of coaching, of using motor learning principles and teaching principles for athletes to acquire skill or new skills.
And I know volleyball is big in the growth mindset.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think you can structure your practice any way you want, but if an athlete comes in with a mindset ready to, challenge themselves and be okay to fail a little bit, and understand that where they see struggle and where, those friction points are, that's where the growth is on the other side. And it can be really motivating when you understand that, rather than seeing failure or errors as, hey, I'm not good enough. This is just where I'm at. There's no way for me to progress. So we talk a lot about that in our program, that if we want to get better, if we want to challenge ourselves and we want to grow, we have to look forward to those errors and those kind of setbacks, because that's the only way we change.
Yeah, it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to coach. And I know it's very prevalent in volleyball. I would hope that it would be able to go ahead and be used in many other sports as well. It's a terrific way to go ahead and develop young people. Each of you have won championships, state championships. Go back to your favorite recollection from that championship experience and let us know what that is, if you don't mind sharing it. Chris, why don't we start with you?
That's a tough one. I'd say, our first women's championship was all the way back in 2003. And to be honest with you, it was a phenomenal team, and getting through that season with only 1 loss and really dominating the state championship game was actually more of a relief than it was a joy. And I think part of that was just, wanting to get this program on the map again as a premier program throughout the state. The following year, after graduating, a lot of the girls, we were able to find ourselves back in that state championship game, and, kind of down the entire game, was able to tie the game with under a minute to go and put it into overtime. And we just kept, being one goal behind, and, they'd score, we'd tie up, and found ourselves in a position in a sudden death period where, we had about 10 seconds left on the clock. And so we, run up a play, which we go out, and we completely botch and do exactly the opposite of what we're supposed to do. But needless to say, the ball ends up in one of our girls' hands as the buzzer's ringing, the ball's in the air and hits the back of the net. And so in terms of exciting, that was one of the most, thrilling. It probably started some of this great growth all the way back then, but that was definitely one that I'll never forget.
And talking about great growth, Casey shaved his great growth for this Zoom conference call. So Casey, what's your favorite recollection of your championship year?
A lot grayer than Chris's beard. This is probably easier for me because Jonathan and Chris have both won so many state championships. I only have one to choose from, but I have often recounted the bottom of the 11th inning in the regional tournament that sent us to the state championship. We'd given up a run in the top of the 11th to Rio Hondo. They had a tall left-handed pitcher who ended up pitching in the big leagues named Bobby LaFramboise. He's on the mound to finish this game. And we did all the little things you talk to a team about doing, we did. We hit opposite field base hits. We took walks. Our cleanup hitter put down the only sack bunt of the entire season for him. And then we walked him off on a bases loaded squeeze. So that was just everything coming together. Obviously a talented team who could go out there and just pitch and hit with the best of them. But we put all the little things together in a big situation, and that got us to the Final Four.
Well, I think anybody who goes ahead and squeezes in the 11th inning like that, there also was a coaching element involved. So congratulations.
Well, the guy at the plate was a big, slow catcher. So it was a double play waiting to happen. So there was one out. We had to try something else.
Jonathan, how about yours?
Last season, 2019 season, we caught fire at the right time, and it was really nice for us coaches to kind of just sit back and watch our players perform in the semifinals and the finals. There was really no stress on our end of how the game was going to go. So that was nice. But in 2016, the state championship one previous to that, we were in the semifinals, and it was game 4, and our opponents were up, it's a game to 25, and our opponents were up like 24-19. And if they would have won that set, we would have been done for the season. And that group of guys were able to come back and upset that team, and we were able to get the win for game 4 and then go on and win game 5. And that kind of propelled us into the state championship. So I think that would be the most memorable.
Terrific. Chris, you've had a great experience working with the Olympic team. And I don't know of many community college coaches, junior college coaches, who have an opportunity to work with an Olympic team, but you've had that opportunity. And this year was cut short with the Olympics being rescheduled now for next year. Tell us about your Olympic experience as a coach, and especially maybe this year, and how those high-level athletes are handling this kind of disappointment, and these high-level coaches.
Yeah, it's I don't see a major difference with any team you're dealing with, whether it's cutting, Casey's baseball season short or Jonathan's volleyball. I just feel for all these student athletes and athletes in general that have their plans derailed. It's definitely on a larger stage when you're talking about Olympic athletes that have been dedicating, the last 4, years preparing for this. And especially when you're getting ready for that final push, and, final cuts are going to be made, and the team's going to be named, and you're going to be just, momentum is building for that to just be stopped, and that carpet to be pulled out from under your feet, so to speak. It leaves you kind of lost, really, and just kind of refocusing and wondering what's next. But it's a tremendous group of women. It is, I like I said, I never wake up a morning dreading going to work, at school, and the same is with them. I feel like I'm an assistant coach for the women's Olympic team, but I'm learning just as much from those women as they probably are from me. And just to be around a group that is just so driven, so resilient, yet is so close and tight knit, and it's all those things that we, dream about with our student athletes in terms of their level of commitment and kindness and all that stuff. So it's been a great experience for me. I feel like it's really helped me grow as a coach, and I think it's and hopefully, in my opinion, it's brought some freshness and helped me to become better for our student athletes at the school. And since I've been working with them, which started in 2013, I've really noticed that. And I think there's been a lot of positives that I've gained and has helped me to grow and hopefully have brought back to the college.
Great. I'm going to throw this question out to all of you. You can just answer. I'm not going to call on anyone, but if anyone has a view on this, why don't you share it with us? You are out recruiting athletes to come into your program. What kind of athlete are you looking for, and what kind of athlete would be successful at Long Beach City College? And then on top of that, why should any student or any athlete consider Long Beach City College as a place to further their educational or athletic goals?
Well, I'll chime in. I'm looking for big, strong guys that run fast and throw hard. I mean, we're looking for good athletes and good baseball players. But there's a lot of competition for recruiting in our area. So, you don't get everybody you go after. So certainly we like to look past that, and, you try to find athletes that are going to take their academics seriously, or the ones that are behind are willing to be worked with so that they can catch up. Again, taking it seriously, making that an important part of what they do here. So I think, why they'd want to come here. I think we check these boxes. We help athletes develop athletically on the field and academically. We win games. We don't win as much as Jonathan and Chris does, but we've won a bunch of games. We've won 5 conference championships in the last 6 years, and we have fun. I mean, baseball players, all athletes, you spend so much time together on the field, in practice, transitions, on a van, in a locker room. And we managed to make it an environment where you can develop and have fun and win. So that's what we're striving to do. And I think we've shown that we do that the last many years.
Yeah, I would just echo what Casey's saying. I don't want to speak for you guys, but I would say that, our number one objective is that we want to help kids get off to, their next step. We're a stepping stone, and we want to bring in student athletes that want to train hard, that want to compete, want to have fun. And at the same time, what I look at with our school is, when I was hired there in 2000, is not only the athletic side of things, but the student support. And it was in its infancy back then. It's much more evolved now, but to have, someone like O'Rourke and counselors that are dedicated exclusively to work with student athletes to put that roadmap down so there's no ifs, ands, or buts when they should be transferring if they follow through with that. To have someone like a Melody that's working at our Student Athlete Success Center to give them support if needed, where they might be having trouble in class. It's really hard to fall through the cracks. Not saying that kids won't, but I really am pleased with the way that the college supports the students and is interested in that next step. And all 3 of us, and I think our whole staff at the college, man, we're competitive. We want to win games. We want to win conference championships and state championships, but I think that's just all a byproduct of the commitment and the hard work and all of that goes into it. That's what we're looking for, that kids that want to buy into that.
Yeah, I think Chris and Casey covered it well. And then I just want to add it. I think someone who's interested in community college is probably, at least for my experience, concerned with I need more athletic development, or I need more academic development, or I need some sort of financial help. And luckily at Long Beach City College, whether you're a student athlete or not, and you're from the state of California, you're going to get some financial help through Viking Advantage or Promise Pathways. And then, we have the academic support with our academic counselors, with Rorik and Melody. And then, like they said, we're competitive and we enjoy our job. So I think we check some big boxes there. So.
Well, I have to tell you, Long Beach City College is certainly lucky to have the three of you as a core group of faculty and coaches supporting our student athletes. My last question to you is, will you share something about yourselves or your family or your background that no one really knows very much about except you? But now understand that if you share this, the whole world will know it. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something. Shoot.
Well, I'll tell you about my family. I've been married for 25 years. I have 3 sons. One of them, and maybe this is the dirty little secret, my oldest son played football at Cerritos, and now he's finishing up his bachelor's degree at Long Beach State. My middle son is in the Navy. He's stationed in Charleston, South Carolina right now. And my youngest son plays football at Orange Coast College, and he's doing well down there.
They all want to get away from dad a little bit then, it sounds like.
I don't mind sharing a little bit my history, my experience, and why I value Long Beach City College so much. But I feel like my experience is similar to quite a few athletes that come and play for me, at least. But growing up, I was not a great student. I was someone who was not really focused on academics. I had no real plan or path, or I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just kind of floating around, and it wasn't until I got to Long Beach City where I kind of had some sort of direction, and and it kind of just was the stepping stone, like Coach Chris said, like that helped me get to my next steps in life. So, I was someone who wasn't really even thinking of graduating from high school and just barely got by, and then wasn't even thinking about college, and then just happened to get in. And then Long Beach City College really helped me in the rest of my life. And yeah, I don't know too many people know that story of me, that it started off with a lot of struggle, a lot of failure, and then Long Beach City College was what put me on the path that I'm on now. So super appreciative to be here.
Yeah, for me, I just think, all of us as coaches have dedicated our lives to our craft, and what's enabled me to do it for as long as I have and be interested still is, taking breaks from it, having hobbies and other things, traveling, fishing, playing an instrument, cooking, whatever it may be, that just kind of gets me away, to be able to, appreciate it when I'm actually there. So I think balance is great. It allows, to be able to, this is a marathon and I want to enjoy that. And I think for me that, the balance and being able to take a step away when you have a chance and explore different interests is critical.
Well, see, I knew you traveled and I knew you fished, but I didn't know you played an instrument. What?
I think that's playing an instrument might be a little bit of a stretch. It's getting more time now, in the shelter in place. But it's I feel bad for my son and my wife.
So what instrument is he, Chris? Are you going to keep us guessing?
Oh, no. It's just guitar, a little acoustic or electric guitar, something to keep the fingers moving, keep the brain working. So.
Well, guys, thank you again for taking time out of your day to to share some of your thoughts and experiences with the people who are watching this video. And for those of you who are watching, please stay safe out there. We will all be together here soon and look forward to our next segment. And again, guys, thanks and go Vikings.
Thanks, Phil.
Vikings.